Hi and welcome to BikeNord. My name is Johan. Today we will talk about the Dyna Build. In this episode we will focus on the engine. So we have a Dyna Glide convertible that we actually reconstruct to a club style bike, and in this episode I thought I should talk a little bit about what we will do with the engine. As you know, it's an Evolution engine in the 96-year Dynas, and it's in 80 cubic inch. So if you want this bike to lift the front wheel, you actually need to do something about the engine. Maybe you don't need to do it if you have a good technique and a really good response on the throttle on the stock bike, but I decided to do a little bit more. But if you only want to have a better response on throttle, then you should go with a Mikuni carburetor. It gives you a little bit better response on the throttle than the CV carburetor, even if you can convert the CV carburetor to much better performance. I choose to go with a Mikuni because it's a different kind of carburetor, and as what I have heard, it should be a little bit more aggressive, and it will not be so smooth that the stock carburetor that's try to flatten out maybe the mistakes that you do on the throttle. The Mikuni will respond directly on what you do with the throttle. So that's why I go with a Mikuni, because I'm controlling the bike and it's I who decide how fast the throttle should respond. Then I need a carburetor that can live with that. So that's why I go with a Mikuni. So that should be interesting in the Dyna Build. The second thing I thought about was, of course, a cam change, because if I change cam, that will do most improvement on the engine. So I decided actually to go with the Andrews cam, and I got a tip from a guy who is very famous here in Sweden for doing a lot of Puffman's engines, and he had done some other stuff with this bike, so he told me I should choose Andrews cam, and this is a EV27 cam, and this will give me a little bit more horsepower. And I like this sticker inside the box. It says made or assembled by Jim 002, and it's packed by Ram 001, and they did this 2019, the 23rd of May, and they actually did it before lunchtime, 10:54, so that's neat. But this cam will actually do the most of the performance on the bike. Hopefully this will give me a little bit more torque and a little bit more horsepower to help me lift the front wheel from the road. But it doesn't stay there actually, because changing cam, I wanted to do something with my heads. I wanted to improve the airflow in my heads to actually give me as most out of the engine that I can get. And our colleague in the business that is really a pro in this kind of performance work on the engines, his name is John Hellinge, and he got a company called Hellinge Racing, and a lot of people here in Sweden consult this guy, Jan, to help them out to get the most performance out of the Harley Davidson engine that you can get. So he has the flow bench, so he can really make a better flow and help us out with that. So I sent him the head, the front and back, and also the main fold. And what we wanted him to do was, of course, to port the heads and give us as much as airflow into the engine that we can get, to get the most out of the engine. And as you see, I hope you can see it inside here, it's ported to the main fold, and the head, of course. The seats are done, the valves, the springs, everything looks really nice, and they are ported in the intake and the outtake. Here you see the outtake. Maybe I should put it a little bit closer. Could you see that? And then the valves. Really nice work. And then the intake. I hope you can see that too. So when we do puffmans to our bikes, if it's Evolution, Twin Cam or a Milwaukee 8, we send these pieces when it comes to port the heads to Jan Helling at Hellinge Racing. So you can check him out at hellingeracing.se, www.hellingeracing.se. I will give you a link down here in the description, so you can check this guy out. Together with every ported heads, you will have documentation of the heads. Here you see all the features that you need to have to help you out to work with your bike. So you get all these flow charts and data together with when he send them back to you. So Jan Helling is working a lot with drag racing. He got a lot of experience from that, and the last 30 years he actually been working on Harley Davidson engines. So then we have the Carburetor, Mikuni, we have the Andrews cam, we have the new ported heads with new valves and everything. And on top of that, we actually decided to mount Dynatek 2000 digital ignition system on the bike that is programmable, and this is also a suggestion from Jan Helling. So together with this cam, with the carburetor, with a good response, with a big flow, the ultimate flow in the head and through the main fold, together with a digital ignition system from Dynatek, Dyna 2000, we will hopefully increase from stock horsepower, 52 horsepower, up to 82 horsepower. And in torque, I actually doesn't know, but we will improve the torque dramatically. So this bike will have no problem to lift the front wheel from the road anytime. So I'm looking forward when we put this together in the engine. I forgot. We also bought some new piston rings because we will lift the cylinder as well and check out the cylinders and the pistons. But I know they are quite good condition, so we will not do anything there except for changing the piston rings. And this is from Hastings, so that's a high quality piston rings as well. So that's actually what we will do with the engine. Of course, we also will put an S&S teardrop air filter on the bike, and for the exhaust side we will put a Bassani 2-to-1 exhaust on the bike. But you will see all this in the build series, some episode that you can follow here. If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you will be notified when that movie will arrive on YouTube. So until that time, I wish you a really nice day. Bye.